Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you 50 different book ideas that you probably haven't heard of. Well, you might have heard of some of these, but I'm not going with super basic books. These are all books that I have read in the past and I absolutely loved, so I hope this video gives you some help on if you're struggling to find a book that you want to read. I have books of pretty much all different genres here, so if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos on every Tuesday and Friday. Okay, so the first 6 books that I'm going to be talking about are all a part of one series, and it is the Selection series. So, I don't know if you guys have heard of this. In my opinion, it's a pretty underrated series. I don't hear a lot of people really reading them that much, and honestly, they're so good. I read these a long time ago, and I've honestly been reading them ever since. I've read this series multiple times, and it is so amazing. So, it kind of is in chunks. So, the first 3 books follow the main character, America Singer, and in her kind of journey to the palace. They live in kind of a caste system, so ones are royalty. This girl's kind of about middle class. Her family was kind of poor, but she got picked in this lottery to go to the palace because the prince has become of age, so they pick 35 girls to come, and basically he wants to pick a wife. So this follows her story. The first 3 books do. These ones are my favorite of the series. They're so amazing and I absolutely adore them. I would say obviously it's kind of a romance series, and I'd say it's about young adult fiction. Now the next 2 books in the series, The Heir and the Crown, sorry they go in that order, they're set 20 years later and they kind of follow the stories of the same characters but 20 years later, and there's a couple obviously new characters into the mix. So I really like those ones as well. If you really fall in love with the characters from the first 3 books and you want to know what kind of came of them, definitely read those 2. And then this single book right here, Happily Ever After, is 4 kind of miniature books. You have The Prince, the Guard, the Queen, and the Favorite. It's basically not the same story, but obviously a similar story told from different people's point of view. So if you, again, fall in love with the characters, you see the story unfold from their perspective as well, and you get to see their thoughts on certain events, which I really enjoyed. So overall, I really like that series, and if you want a good read, it's kind of a quick and easy read, but it's really good. It'll keep you enhanced and captured into the story, and it's one of those ones that you just cannot put down. Okay, so these next 3 books are another series as well, and I'm assuming that you guys have all heard about them because the movie is quite the hype right now. But To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Now, I read this series a while before the movies came out, actually. And for those of you who didn't know, if you've only watched the movie or if you haven't even heard of the movie, it is a series of 3 books. And they're titled To All the Boys I Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, and Always and Forever, Laura Jean. And so if you love the movies and you kind of want to know what happens to the characters afterwards, there is 2 more books that there is no movies for. Or if you've just never even heard of it, it's a really good series. It's a romance about a young girl who writes 5 letters to her crushes but never sends them out, but then someone sends out the letters and one of them kind of gets out, or they all get out, sorry, and basically she now has to deal with the reaction of these boys who she liked and are now kind of coming back to her. So it's a really good series. I definitely recommend it if you have not read it already. Now, the 10th book that I'm going to talk about is a single novel. It is titled Dreamland by Sarah Dessen, and I love this book. I honestly read it in like one day. It's not a very long book, but it's very good. It's about a girl who is in an abusive relationship, so I think that you should know it does kind of talk about mature subjects a little bit in this book, but it's really good, and you kind of get to see her kind of perspective on it and then her friends' kind of perspectives on it as well, and it's really good. Just on the back it kind of says, after her sister left, Caitlin felt lost, and then she met Rogerson, and when she's with him, nothing seems real. But what happens when being with Rogerson becomes a larger problem than being without him? So it's really good. I highly recommend it if you want kind of a quick read but captivating. This book is amazing. Okay, so my next set of books, I have a couple single books. This one is called Fangirl, and it's a really good book. Honestly, it's pretty long, but I still read it all in one day. It was really, really good, really captivated you right away. It sucked you in, you didn't want to put it down. Again, it's a pretty simple read. It's not too complicated, but you really fall in love with the characters, and I really, really enjoyed this one. The next single book is called A Step Towards Falling. This one is about a girl who is attacked at a football game, and it follows her life and then two other characters who kind of witnessed the attack but had to live with the fact that they didn't do anything to stop it because they were worried about their reputation. And it's really, really good. It really shows you kind of how a story can be different from alternating perspectives, and I really, really love that book, and I definitely recommend giving it a read. The next one is called Fireworks. This follows the story of two best friends who came from the same small town, and one of them is kind of looking to make a name for herself as a famous singer, a famous singer, and her friend actually does have a lot of talent as well and kind of gets picked to go along with her. They both get picked at the same audition, and then they're kind of competing with each other for basically that famous life. So, and they're best friends, they're basically like sisters, so it's kind of interesting to see them have that rivalry as well and what it does to their friendship. The next one is How It Feels to Fly. Yeah, How It Feels to Fly, and this is a really good book. It is about a ballerina, and she is picked at this prestigious dance school or whatever, and she always has these dreams of becoming a dancer, but she also struggles strongly with an eating disorder, and her mom gets worried about her and kind of sends her to help her deal with her problems, and basically she just battles a lot. And again, this one does talk about some heavy things as well, so you should probably know that before reading it, but it's a very, very good book, and I actually learned a lot when I was reading it. The next book is called Tell Me Three Things. This book was really, really good. It is about a girl, and she's texting this guy, and she doesn't really know who he is. She really does kind of want to know. She knows he goes to her school. She's new to this school, and she's trying to meet new people, and she kind of starts to like him a little bit, and I find it a really interesting read. So if you like kind of teen romance, that's definitely one for you. The next series I'm going to talk about is, well, it's a 6-book series. I do not have all the books right now. I only actually have one of the books, and then the rest I borrowed from a friend. So this is a 6-part series. I have the middle one. It's called The Remedy, and it's about basically in a society where when someone dies, they have a closer that comes and helps the family. And they take over the role of their kid for a couple days, so the family gets a chance to say goodbye. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird idea to wrap your head around, but once you get into it, I promise it is such a page turner, you can't put it down, and there's so many twists and turns. So the rest of the books are titled, sorry, I'm just looking though. The first one is called The Program, and the second one is called The Treatment, the third one is The Remedy that I just showed you. The fourth one is The Epidemic, the fifth one is The Adjustment, and the sixth one is The Complication. So all of these books are really, really amazing, and I highly recommend all of them. They're so captivating, and I absolutely adore them. Next this is just a single book, but it's called We Were Liars, and again, another pretty short one, a quick read. But it's basically about this girl. It's about a family actually of Sinclairs, and they were very wealthy, and they were all perfect, and everyone had to be perfect and pretty and athletic and smart, and basically you kind of know from the get-go, the beginning of the book, there's something had gone wrong in summer 17, I believe it was, and basically you learn and learn more and more clues as the book goes on about what happened in that summer, and then at the end you kind of get to learn exactly what happened that summer and basically what changed the reputation of the family forever, and it's really, really good. I think that you guys would like it. It's one of the books that I read every once in a while. I keep coming back to it. It's very, very good. Now the next one is a series of 3. I'm actually rereading this series right now. As you can see, I have a bookmark in the pages, but it's a series of 3 books. Did I mention I Love You? Did I mention I Need You? And did I mention I Miss You? So these books are very good. It's about a girl named Eden, and her parents split up a couple years ago. The dad left their family and moved to Los Angeles, where he met a new woman and who has 3 sons herself, and hasn't even heard from her dad, but he wants her to come and spend the summer with him and his family in Los Angeles. And a lot of things happen in that summer, and basically it's just about her kind of on a journey of self-discovery, I guess. She's meeting a bunch of new people, trying basically out a new lifestyle, and it's really, really good. I really like this. It's, again, a simple read, and I just find it really good and really interesting. I love those teen kind of romance books, so that's probably what a lot of these books are about, but they're really, really good. So the next book that I recommend is called Never Missing, Never Found. It's about a girl basically who gets kidnapped and is like forced to work as a maid. This one is a little bit more of a page-turning kind of mystery thriller book. It's really, really good. The next book is called Wonder, and I know you guys have probably all heard of the movie for this one, and I don't know if you guys have read the book. I read the book when I was actually pretty young, but I reread it recently, and honestly, it's a book you can even read as an older adult, or as a child, honestly. It's just such a good book, and it really helps to kind of spread awareness about these certain things, and kind of shows you, like, this boy is disabled, but it shows you kind of how he feels about everything, and, like, the people that are around him making fun of him, they might think it's not that big of a deal, but when you see it from the person's perspective, it's a totally different story. So this book is similar. It's called All the Bright Places. I believe it's a movie now, actually, but again, it's about mental illnesses and basically about how the people, from the point of view of someone struggling with one, and how it affects the people around them, and it's just a really, really good read. Both of those are good if you want to kind of learn more while still enjoying it. This book is called Off the Page. It is different from any book I've ever read. Basically, these people actually get, like, trapped in a book, and it kind of follows, like, book characters and real life people, and I don't know if you've ever fallen in love with a fictional character, well, might relate to this book because that's kind of what it's about. So there's another movie about this one, and it's called The Girl on the Train. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie, to be honest. It was really boring and slow. This is another mystery kind of thriller one, and I thought the movie could have been done a lot better, but I really, really enjoyed the book when I was reading it, and I really enjoy this book. I really wanted to know what happens. It kind of kept me on my toes, so if you watched the movie and hated the movie, so you didn't read the book because the book is much better than the movie, I must say. So this book is called 4, and it's from the Divergent collection, which I know you guys have either seen the movie or read the book. It was really popular a bit ago. That's why I didn't include the series in these 50 books, because honestly I feel like a lot of people have seen it and read it already. But a lot of people didn't know about this book, and one of the main characters, 4, it's a book from his perspective. So you kind of get to see a lot of the main events that happened in the trilogy from his perspective, which I love books like that. I thought it was so neat. So that is definitely a good read if you've read the series or watched the movies and just kind of want to see more content from another person's perspective. So this book is called You Are a Badass. Honestly, it's really, really good. This is a self-help book, and it's just really, really good if you need some, like, motivation, you want to get your life back on track. I know this is a little bit different than the ones I've been talking about. It's not really fiction, but it's amazing. Honestly, I'm obsessed with it, so definitely check that out. This book is called Let's Get Lost. It's 5 people's different stories about their adventures and basically just trying to get through life, I guess, and learning more and more about themselves. And yeah, so 5 complete different strangers and basically their journeys, and this book is so amazing. I loved it a lot, and I read it fairly quickly as well. This next book is called The Siren. It is by the same author that wrote the Selection series, and I was really interested because I love those books, so I wanted to see how this one would be. It's very different. It kind of follows an alternate reality, I guess, a world that we would never really see today, and I kind of love that because it was really creative and I really liked it, and it was really different, so you kind of have to have an open mind when you're reading it and you can't judge it too harshly, but it's a good read. It was fun for me to read. I enjoyed it. So the next book is Since You've Been Gone. It's about a girl, basically her wild, adventurous friend kind of went missing, and not went missing, sorry, well, to her she went missing. She didn't know where she went, and she was kind of a little lost, and there was a list from the things that her friend wanted her to do to kind of bring out her adventurous side, I guess, and to get her to step out of her comfort zone. And so she does all the things on the list in hopes of finding her friend again, and it's a really good read, and I guess you get to find out what happens to her friend. So this is another one that was a movie as well, Me Before You. So I didn't really know that there was a book until after I watched the movie. And if you're like me, the movie made you cry. It was really, really sad, so I had to read the book too. And the book was really good. It offered a lot of details that the movie did not, and I really liked getting to follow their story a little bit more on a deeper level, which just made me even cry harder when I watched the movie the second time. So if you've watched the movie or if you haven't watched the movie, I definitely recommend checking that one out. This one, if you've seen the show, Jane the Virgin, I love that show. Go check it out. The main character in that book, or in that show, sorry, wrote a novel, and I didn't know, but that novel is actually a real book. You can buy it on Amazon. I don't know if you can buy it in bookstores, but I bought it off Amazon, and it's the exact book. You can even see exact quotes from the show that she talked about putting in her book. They're in the book for real. The cover that was on the show that they mentioned was in here, so it was kind of cool to actually get to see that book come to life. I don't know if it'd be as good if you haven't seen the show and didn't already have a connection to the characters, but I think it'd be good either way, just in my opinion. It's set in the 1930s, so it's got I think the 1930s, and so it's got a little bit of an older feel to it, so it's a little bit different. You kind of got to be on board with that, but once you kind of get past that, it's a really, really, really good book, and if you like books set in older times, you'll love this book. Now these next three are a series, and I read these ones quite a while ago, but I loved them. They're called Half Bad, Half Wild, and Half Lost. So these are three books that kind of follow a boy's kind of journey to discovering himself, I guess, and throughout the process he has to go through quite a lot of hard things. Again, this book kind of follows a different sort of reality that we would never really see, and I really like books like that, and it's kind of like the Hunger Games it was described as. I don't know, it's really good. The ending you don't really expect at all, and I kind of like books like that as well. So these are by Sally Green, so definitely go check those out. Okay, so the next book is called Bunheads. This is a book about another ballerina who kind of struggles with her self-image, and she wants to make it big, but she doesn't think she can with the way she looks, and she kind of gets picked on a lot. So it's a really good book. Again, there is a bit of mature content in it, but it's really good, and I definitely recommend it. And another one that also has some mature content in it is 13 Reasons Why. You guys have probably seen or heard about the TV show. It does talk about suicide, rape references, so this one is very much a mature read. And if you've watched the TV show and didn't like it, or you watched it and did like it but don't think there's a point in reading the book because you know what happens, the book kind of follows a different path. It's one of those ones that I think you need to sit down and read all in one day. It's kind of a binge read book. I didn't like it as much when I read it in like night by night, I guess, and read it slowly. So I definitely recommend reading that one and read it when you have like a lot of time on a rainy day or something, and it is different from the show, so definitely check it out if you kind of want more to these character stories that you haven't seen yet. Another one that I have, I'm getting lost in like a sea of books right now, is The 1000th Floor. This is a really good book. It's set quite a lot into the future, and basically everyone lives in this really huge like 1,000-floor building. And basically it's kind of about their life, and the main character, the main girl, kind of falls for someone she's really not supposed to fall for. So it's kind of interesting. I like it. I like futuristic books, I guess. The next book is Taking Flight. This is another one I read all in one day. It's a true story. This one is not fiction, and it's about another ballerina, and she was black and she really wanted to make it in the dance world but had a hard time but persevered, and it's a really, really good motivational book if you need some motivation. I love it, and I love her story so much. These next three books are by the author Sarah Dessen. So she's the one that wrote that book Dreamland. She has some really, really good books. I definitely recommend checking them out. This one is called Keeping the Moon, and basically she has to go spend the summer with her aunt, and she meets a bunch of new friends and even a love interest. So it's a really good book. It's kind of a just like teen summer romance book. It's really good. It's a good one. I like it. It's a good read. And then this one is called Expect the Unexpected. It's about a girl who likes to keep her life perfectly planned. She doesn't like surprises, but basically, I mean, her summer, she has to get a job that she didn't expect and didn't plan, and she didn't like it. But there she meets a boy named Wes, and sometimes she learns that sometimes basically what you don't expect can be the best things for you. And it's a good book. I really like how it ended and stuff, so I would definitely go try to check that one out. And then the last one I have by her is called Someone Like You. This girl named Scarlett, she was very like strong and powerful woman, but then her boyfriend died, and she found out shortly after that she was pregnant, and she was just devastated. Like, so she learns to have to like lean on her friends and stuff, and it's really, really good. I love the story. It's so one of my favorite books of hers actually is that one. Then I have the book The Last Boy and Girl in the World. Basically, it's about a huge storm that happens, and this girl is so focused on her crush on this boy, she doesn't kind of really realize exactly what's going on around her, and that her friends kind of need her, and that her family kind of needs her, and I don't know, I find it's kind of a bit of a relatable book, not in like the sense that like the world is like falling apart because of this storm. Obviously, that's not really going on right now, but just in kind of the way that the character acts, I found that I could kind of relate to her a little bit, and I really, really liked this book, and I definitely recommend it. So this next book is called This Is What Happy Looks Like. I really like this book. I actually bought this book after I read a really, really sad, depressing series, and I wanted to read a happy book, and this book is called This Is What Happy Looks Like. I was drawn in by the cover. Basically, it's about like these teenagers that strike up a conversation kind of online or by texting kind of, and they don't really share much of like their like faces or looks, and basically just get to know each other, and it's really good. I think that you guys should check that one out. And the last one, number 50, a lot of you guys probably heard this one, but I couldn't not include it on this list, is Eleanor and Park. Honestly, I love this book. I've read it more than once. It's so amazing. The ending frustrated me. Those who have read the book, the ending is frustrating, but it's a very good book. You find yourself kind of relating to the main character a little bit. It's such a good book, honestly. If you haven't read it yet, what are you doing? Go check it out. So, yeah. So there was 50 book suggestions. Now you guys have absolutely no excuse. You don't know what to read or anything, because even if you only like self-help books, or you only like mystery, or you only like romance, I have given you guys a huge, massive list of tons and tons of books. I'm sorry if this video is pretty long and I rambled a little bit, especially about some of the books I loved, and I also am curious when I'm editing this how many times that I said go check it out, or I recommend it, or it was a captivating book. I'm honestly a little scared for that, so I'm sorry if I rambled quite a lot, but if you made it through this video, congrats. And I really hope that you guys can check out some of these books. If you did check them out, please be sure to comment down below which ones you read and your thoughts on them, and if you've read any of the books I've talked about, tell me if you like them. And you guys can also comment down below your favorite books, and maybe give the people in the comments a couple more ideas in case 50 was not enough. So please be sure to subscribe. I post new videos on every Tuesdays and Fridays, and hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!